My name is Taimur. I was born in Yugoslavia. I am now based in the Luton Jamaat, and I've been an Ahmadi for about 2.5 years now. I was born in a Christian family, and my spirituality has always been something that I was very interested in. In fact, from a very early age, I had a significant interest in what I call the human condition, religion and spirituality, and the natural sciences, and so on. So it has always been very important to me. It's impossible to do justice to the full story in a short amount of time. So I'll do my best to keep it brief. It really, I think my journey started when I was very young, when I attended Christian theology classes, which had left me somewhat disappointed, because I couldn't really relate to the kind of Christian theology and the particularly issues like the sonship of God and the original sin and the sort of denial of science and things like that. So after that, I had moved to the UK, and because of a degree of disenchantment, I think, with Christianity, I had neglected, I think, religion in general, and I focused much more on my studies in natural sciences. I studied in the UK, and it was really since in the recent years, I think, given this whole turmoil in the world and this relentless assault on Islam in the media, that it really made me think that I should really get to know it a bit more. I mean, I've had Muslim friends since I was very young and throughout my life, and certainly the kind of Islam that was being presented in the papers and on TV, it wasn't the kind of Islam I was familiar with, and I thought that there was an injustice being done to it. So I started reading about the world in the 7th century and Arabs in Arabia and the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I always say that no open-minded person, I think, can fail to be really taken aback, by the life and the legacy of the Holy Prophet. So I thought that I could already feel a real difference in my life, and I thought, if we all strive towards the Sunnah and the way of our Holy Prophet, then perhaps the world would really be a community of peace and brotherhood rather than war and confrontation. And it also says in the Quran that God intervenes between a man and his heart, and I could really feel that my heart was undergoing a real transformation as I was studying Islam. And it was later on then that I met a guy in India. I was there on business, and during conversation he told me that he was an Ahmadi, and I remember reading a short article about Ahmadiyyat, and I was really curious to find out why is this community so under such a threat and so persecuted in the Muslim world. So I thought this was God giving me an opportunity to find out something new, and I was instantly attracted to this the purity of Islam as embodied in the Ahmadiyya, and the kind of this peaceful the message of the true Islam, as it were. So when I got back to the UK, I sort of went on the internet and found the alislam.org website, and that was one of the most profound moments in my life, actually, because as I logged onto the website the first time, I saw the picture of Promised Messiah alayhi salam, and it had reminded me in an instant of a dream that I had many years before then, not even knowing its significance at the time, and almost having forgotten about it over the years. But that moment really the image of the Promised Messiah really reminded me of it. And it was a dream in which I was walking across some dusty landscape with a huge rock on my back, and it was Promised Messiah himself, who had just stopped me by the side of the road and just lifted this heavy burden off my back. and I thought this was having realized, I often wondered who was this kind stranger who had relieved me from my burden, and it was only when I saw the picture of Promised Messiah alayhi salam on the Al-Islam website that I realized that was him, and I thought that was the point of no return, I think. And it's really since then that I have this is years ago. Since then I've been studying the Ahmadi literature and the sort of philosophy of Islam, particularly the books of our Khalifas and the Promised Messiah himself. And it's quite clear to me that this is the truth. So that's why I'm an Ahmadi. It's a difficult subject, actually. I think it has strained my relationship with a lot of people, but such is the will of God, you know. It's something that gives me a sense of it challenges me, I think, to always be true in my faith and to remind me of the sacrifices I think that we need to make. And I think the rewards and the blessings that you get in return are well worth the effort. It's difficult to single out any one thing. Certainly, the sort of spiritual framework, if you want, and the philosophy of Islam, I think, is the most sophisticated system within which one can understand the source and the purpose of existence and our relationship with each other and with the natural world and with God. So the philosophy of Islam played a big part. But if I had to pick up just one thing, it would be the words of Khalifatul Masih II, who said, when asked why do I believe in Islam, he said because it's the truth. Again, there are so many benefits. It's difficult to pick one or two, but I guess they probably all fall under this idea of it had given me a great sense of purpose and in life, and it had given me a real sense of being on the right path as God intended me to be, and it gives me a tremendous sense of balance in life. That one is easy. God. I find tremendous happiness in every step of this journey towards God. And you know, these steps manifest themselves in all kinds of different ways. Anytime and every time I do something good, even if it's something really small, like picking up some rubbish from the floor and throwing it in the bin, you know, or showing kindness to people around me, that always makes me feel closer to God, and it always reminds me of having to always be mindful of pleasing God.